Dear fellow recruiters, Suman Pachigulla here, and I just picked a Java Backend Developer role for you to understand how you are going to use skills to create a Boolean search. So before you create the Boolean search, it is very much important that you understand what is this job is all about and why the client is looking for the skills and what they are looking for. All right. Now here to understand this requirement, they have shared about their details, and you may want to read this one. Okay, but here I would like to see, okay, we are looking for a remote senior backend software developer with 4+ years of experience, application and services development experience. They want to have somebody who can join. All right, it's a full-time role, $140,000 to $175,000. So 70 to 85 per hour, right? Somewhere it is coming anyways for a 4 years guy. That's a good deal. Now bachelor's and master's is a must. So what is that you will be looking here? So here we'll be collecting information that you will be needing. Okay, must haves that we are going to is like it's a bachelor's of science degree is required. And what is that they have mentioned? Expertise in Java, Python, Scala, Go or similar programming languages. Now they are looking for a programming languages. Okay, so what are the programming languages? They said either Java, okay, or Python. All right, and now they have asked for Scala or Go. So Go could be like a Golang. You're aware of that, right? Go is Golang, so you could use Go, or it could be a Golang. All right, now here, so if you see how they it's a language, right? Golang. Now you got to check if the project is going on cloud, primary Google Cloud, Golang is good. And if the project is written on Java, they're primarily using Java, then if there is definitely the compiler, right, there will be there. And if they are using messaging services, JVM, or that's yes, JMS, then Scala will be better. So for Java related thing, Scala would be better, but the client asks for or similar project. So you could look for anything of this what the client is looking for. So it could have been a single programming language, but client is asking for multiple. You just have to check what kind of candidate is that. So primarily it is Java based, it looks like. Okay, primarily Java. You might be looking for Java Java backend person. AWS infrastructure setup, configuration, security, IAM deployment. So here this client is looking for AWS infrastructure setup. Infrastructure setup is could be the data centers or the networks, their what else, the storage, security, everything this person should be managing about. Okay, so you should be asking questions that AWS infrastructure, what is that, infrastructure setup and configuration. All right, you should be asking this to the candidate. And as we move forward, expertise in one or more infrastructure monitoring tools such as Nagios and CloudWatch. So when they say Nagios or CloudWatch, so it is primarily Nagios used on a DevOps environment, in a CI/CD environment. So what is Nagios does? It's a infrastructure monitoring tool. It's not application monitoring, it's infrastructure monitoring. It's a servers, it's a database, it networks. Okay, it sees the load balancing. It looks at how the particular load is been distributed and how the servers, the processors and the databases are working. And according to that, it is going to give the information back to the development team to see, okay, what exactly they should be doing in order to see if everything is working. It's okay. If not working, then what they should be doing. So that is the reason Nagios is used. So you may ask for Nagios or any infra monitoring tool. Okay, so they have given example of CloudWatch and Nagios. Experience with message queue systems such as Apache Kafka. So here, if sometimes you see, right, IBM MQ also used, and MQ series you heard of, and Java messaging services also used. And here they asked about Kafka primarily. So here message queue is something that it's a program, right? They write it, the code, to let one application connect with another application. So we may generally call API as well, right? Application programming interface. That also does the same thing. API also connects with one application to another application, and RESTful also, that is the same thing. Web services, right? Web service, what it does, it also connects from one application to another application. Now here, when they are looking for a Kafka, so they need something like a should happen online. So here for in ETL, in data warehousing, for online transaction processing, Kafka is used for connecting information faster in a live environment. So message queue is something, for example, one application, if a user gives a request or if something works on an application, now one application need to connect to another application, and there are like 10-15 different applications or softwares are there, and everything needs to connect with everything to get a particular outcome. And what if few of the applications are shut down or not working? Now what is that going to happen? So that is where the message queue comes in. It keeps the message in queue and distributes it wherever it should go. So that is the reason they use message queue. Okay, and message queue. So you see, these are the, we are picking the keywords, understanding it and picking the keywords. Now you gonna play around with the boolean search, whatever you wanna go with. All right, now I'm just trying to help you out, pick the keywords here and why you should pick and what is that you should be picking. So here, as they mentioned about Kafka, you should be asking, did you work with any other message queue softwares or products? Okay, you can ask that as well. And what else? Experience working with and managing big data systems and scalability leverage and a variety of scale technologies. Now they are asking for someone who could help them scale. What is scale here? You need to understand. Scale is like it could be distributing the load. You can call it load balancing. Let's say whatever, when they create codes in microservices and they use their containers, right, Docker. Now here, depending upon what is the request is coming, it allots that particular code or containers to be executed. If the request is less, it will allot less work to the server. So that's what the kind of is scaling. That's what it does. What is that they are looking for? K8s. K8s. What is K8s? It is nothing but a Kubernetes, right? Kubernetes they call K8s, Docker Swarm, serverless. So these are kind of tools for scaling or distributing or giving work to the servers. Now if you see in AWS, there's a Lambda. Lambda is one of the serverless we can call it serverless product. And even for to work on Lambda, you need to learn, the developer needs to know their language, Lambda as a language, because that needs to be scripted, written in the backend, right? So what does that do is, for example, if you are using a Facebook, for example, right, and you switched on your Facebook, let's say there is a profile pic. Okay, it's a very normal example. Profile pic is there. For profile pic, it doesn't have to go and hit the server or database to get you the request to show your profile pic. They might have stored your profile pic in web browsers or somewhere in a different database, because as soon as it the person switches on the profile or logins to the profile pic should come. It means if the application is deployed on a cloud, what is the deployment on cloud? It's like renting the database and save services, right? So the more you use their services, the more we have to pay. So when it comes to serverless, all the information they store it in a different place, where if a similar request comes in, it doesn't have to hit the server all the time, or unnecessarily they should not be keeping all the server open just because someone is using their website or application. So in this way, what happens, whatever you need the information, if that needs to go to the database and bring you information, the serverless products will help you to get in there and use whatever the time you used is for about 10 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever you do. Then after that, it shuts down. So the billing will be less and it runs faster. So you don't have to keep on engaging everything just because you have application, someone is viewing it. All right. So for example, in Amazon.com or in YouTube, we could say. So you just go to amazon.com or amazon.in. There are so many pages, so many products, so many things are there. It means it has to be live at all the time. So it doesn't mean everything is running at the same time. So maybe they are using this in the backend Lambda, that whatever you request, it will go and get it. That's it. Got it? And few of the information might be already available in the database. We doesn't have to hit the server. So K8s, you can use Kubernetes, you see here, and you can use this as well. People call it Kubernetes, all right, just for your information, people. So don't be surprised what is this all about. Okay, perfect. What is this happening? Okay, serverless, you understood? So Docker Swarm, serverless, these are the scalability. Okay, a different way of making things happen. And 4 years of development experience. It's a Java, Python, Golang, Scala, C++, anything object-oriented languages they wanted this person to know. 2+ years of experience administering AWS or other cloud environment. So definitely they're looking for Amazon Web Services person who experience, who has worked on it and at the same time experience in administering it. Experience with the deployment tool. So we could use AWS as well. Okay, already we have mentioned AWS, so we no need. What else we are looking for? Experience with a deployment tool. Okay, deployment tool and IaaS tool such as GitLab Runner, GitHub Action, Jenkins, Terraform, CloudFormation, Puppet, Salt, Chef, and Ansible. Now when they say these are the deployment tools, okay, IaaS, infrastructure as a services tool, infrastructure base level. What is infrastructure? Infrastructure is something which allows the developers to start working on it. It could be like servers, it could be like network, it could be like a data storage, it could be like database, system, everything. Okay, it's like a platform, it's like an infrastructure. So here GitHub, okay, GitLab, GitHub, so different, this is source code control tool, right? GitHub. Jenkins is a automation tool. It's a build or deployment automation tool primarily used in CI/CD. It's a continuous integration and continuous deployment environment. So what Jenkins does is it automates the work. For example, the developer has built a code. Now what it should go? It should go for a unit testing. It's the build, unit testing. It should go to the general testing. If everything is good, then it should go to the deployment and so on and so forth, right? If the code is there, if it has to be compiled, there is a step by step, and that will be done by Jenkins actually. Okay, this is a automation tool. All right. And yes, Terraform, they say it is like a provisioning tool. Okay, this is like a provisioning tool, this is. And CloudFormation, this is also something related to that. And Puppet, Chef, Ansible, configuration management tool. Salt is like a salt stack. You heard of salt stack, right? So these are different tools for the same thing. Well, each has different feature. So it depending upon which one the client wants, they want it, but it's like a different products for the same work. Okay, but here Terraform is different than Jenkins. For automation, this is for provisioning, and these are configuration management tool. Puppet, Salt is like salt stack, Chef, Ansible. All right, CI/CD environment. You could use this as well, and you can ask questions, right? Like, you just don't have to look for everything in there. Where someone has used Chef, then all good. Okay, now you can ask that why there is a use of Terraform, how did you do that, why it is needed. All right, you could do that. And experience with Kubernetes or container based infrastructure, either creating Dockerized application or deploying Docker containers to ECS, EKS, Kubernetes, Docker Swarm, right? So they're looking for ECS, Elastic. ECS, EKS, it's like a, you can see Elastic Search we could able to write. Okay, Elastic Search we can write. And so Elastic Search in Kubernetes, EKS is like something related, something like that. All right, now here Elastic is these particular products will help pull the data from any sources in any form and help it analyze and visualize it. That's what these things will do, irrespective of the data sources, irrespective of the data types, कुछ भी कैसे भी होने दो data, it will help pull the data and let these companies use that in a proper manner. Got it, people? That is EKS and ECS. Familiarity meaning it's good to have. Alright, using configuration optimizing with any of the following technologies: Apache Kafka, MongoDB, Postgres, Redis, Elastic Stack Services. This is what it is I was looking for. Elastic Stack Services, okay, and Amazon hosted services. Now here, if you see, they are looking for someone who will be using configuration and optimizing tool. Apache Kafka, we may say that this could be an ETL tool which is used for pulling the data and visualizing on and letting it work on the live environment. Okay, now this message queue as well, this could be a messaging services. MongoDB, Postgres, Redis, if you see, these are the NoSQL databases. These are the databases, and this is not a database. Okay, this is the tool. Now if you see, these are the databases. Maybe it's they're looking for NoSQL databases, right? NoSQL databases are what you can call it as non-relational databases. Okay, NoSQL is not only SQL databases. So these are the MongoDB open source. These are the open source databases where it's available for free because there are so many people are contributing to it. All right, that's how it is. Now what you understood with this, we have collected bunch of information from the requirements. So what did we understand? We are looking for a backend developer who will be using, it's a primarily backend, it is not a full stack, it's a backend developer who will be working with coding languages, working on the cloud infrastructure, working with infrastructure level, and working with the messaging services on cloud platform. So these are the primary that client is looking for. So since it has given multiple varieties of tools everywhere, so for you could able to find anyone who has familiarity and worked with these processes, how to work on messaging services, messaging queue, how did they connect it, how did they integrate it. All right, did the person work with Nagios on the monitoring tool? Well, these Nagios, this connection, this will be done by the DevOps people, but hands-on experience knowing how to use the infrastructure monitoring tool, that's what you should be knowing, because they should know how to read it at least, right? Because then only I could be able to know what I'm doing and what I don't have to do. So that sort. And scaling tools. So what are the scaling tools have you used? Have you worked on Kubernetes? How did you work on? Can you share your experience? Okay, which part of your application has been done in this, so on and so forth. And you may ask, you are a backend developer, how did you get into the with the configuration management tool, with the automation tool? How was your experience with the continuous integration and deployment? So that's what you should be asking the question. So here what you need to understand is one more thing here, that they are all right. So based on Washington DC, we provide firearm accessories, okay, and analytics, firearm accessories and analytics to professional security forces worldwide. Okay, वो firearm accessories and security forces, for security forces primarily they give it. What is that? With our proprietary high-tech systems, we provide national defense, law enforcement, and security professional with embedded IoT sensors. They might be using that goggles, they might be using that the rifles, or maybe assault rifles, the guns, anything. So it's a sensor based, all right, intelligent mobile application. So it's primarily for the law enforcement, so that is not for the civilians. And cloud based analytical platform, so anything. So this is what they provide. They primarily work with defense forces to make their life easy. Now you are looking for someone who could be working with them. So it is always better if you have if you find a candidate with previously who worked with these sensing technologies, okay, IoT technologies. You worked with someone who used not only just programs or like application developed for web application or mobile application, but you might be looking for primarily who has like little bit of AI related or IoT. What is IoT? Information, it is like what is that? Information of the technology. What is that? Let me check it up. IoT is like something like that, right? IoT is Internet of the Things, right? Internet of the Things. So, and what else? Internet of the Things. Working with maybe in medical devices, or it is better to find someone who is already who worked on defense services for their softwares and so on. All right. Now, in that way, you could able to match their environment, their cultural what experience with the person who is going to join. So one of that is, I know someone. Have you heard of this Agna Lens people? Right, I'm gonna show you it. Right, so yes, AGNL Lens. Now here, if you see, this is what I'm talking about. I know this person, the owner of here, and the person who is working there. Now here, if you see, they create these sort of lenses, okay, Ajna lens or Agya lens, how would you call, I don't know. So here for military professionals, okay. Now this is what, right? And if you see, and whom I know, I was telling, I know this person, okay. I happen to meet with him, this person, okay. I know this person, and they could able to deliver something. All right, and let me see if I know anybody else here. Okay, that's the secondary story, people. So primary is all about, you see, he is a Rajnath Singh ji, right? It's our defense minister, Rajnath Singh ji. He was also visited. He visited there for the defense forces, that how their products can help military forces to get into more of to secure or understand or identify whatever it is. So how their business model, we don't know. So that's what I'm talking about. If you find someone who worked on softwares that is primarily used on embedded IoTs, then this person could be a best match. All right, I hope you understood what to look for, how to understand, and don't just jump on looking for a Java developer and send it across. All right, and if you like this video, please share this with other people, and have other recruiters join our mission to impact 5 million lives. Once again, this is Suman Pachigulla, and I wish you all the best, and as always, I love you people. Take care and God bless.